The Euro 2020 final took place between Italy and England at Wembley. Going into the game, most people would have had this at 50-50, and it proved to be the case in a very tight game that was affected by a very early England goal. Italy were unchanged in their lineup and system, sticking to their 4-3-3. England changed things around for this game by shifting to a 3-4-3 to probably stop Italy in transitions. Mount played in the front three with Sterling and Kane. Trippier was brought in to play wingback. Italy dominated possession, and this was partly due to England's very early lead that they wanted to protect. Rather than press for a second, England only managed one more shot on target after the early goal. As England looked to protect the lead, the defenders sat back and Italy pressed 1v1. This would see Pickford go long, often throwing the ball out to Shaw to avoid the press, or kick the ball long to Kane, and Sterling or Mount would try to get the second balls. This was largely unsuccessful though, as he was up against Bonucci and Chiellini. England's 3-4-3 system meant that Italy conceded space in wide areas as Italy's midfield was narrow. This meant that England could often create a 2 versus 1 and get in behind Italy's fullbacks. This could force one of Italy's defensive midfielders to step back into defence to cover the spaces and prevent the centre-back being dragged out of position. England win a corner from this. This system also allowed England to control the wide areas and prevent Italy from getting in behind their fullbacks. With Shaw, Mount and Rice covering these spaces, Italy were usually outnumbered. England would not look to press Italy's back line when playing out of defence. Instead, they would try to prevent passes into their midfielders Jorginho and Verratti, and this was often to stop them dictating play. Italy were forced to play the ball long or to their fullbacks. When the ball was played to their fullbacks, the wide attackers would sprint out and press them. The ball would go back and longer passes would be made. This was largely successful in stopping Jorginho controlling possession. Italy's formation is more of a 4-2-1-3 with Jorginho and Verratti as the pivots. At times, Verratti and Jorginho would drop into the defence as they could not receive many balls from the defenders. From here they would look to build play by playing 1-2s to get into England's third. But as Italy's fullbacks were pushed back by England, there were not many passing options. With England sitting back in a 5-4-1 more and more in the second half, it could have been time to introduce Rashford or Sancho earlier to add more threat on the counter-attack, as Italy left a lot of space behind. In the second half we saw some changes from Italy as they managed to get more players into dangerous positions. When in possession, Italy would form a 2-3-2-3 formation, with Cristante and Chiesa switching positions, and Verratti and Jorginho moving around the pitch as they saw best. Similar to the first half, Verratti would slip into the defence between Chiellini and Bonucci, but this time the fullbacks pushed further up the pitch. Chiesa and substitute Cristante occupied the half spaces in front of England's defence. They would then look to run at England to open up some spaces. Jorginho and Verratti started to control the game by getting the ball more and more. They would take turns slotting into defence and create a 4 versus 3 when playing out from defence with the fullbacks pushed up. Once the ball has advanced, Verratti and Jorginho would take turns in moving into midfield and providing passing options to ensure that Italy kept possession. At times we would even see Chiellini advance right up to the penalty box, and it was this kind of pressure that led to Italy's corner and the equaliser on the 67th minute. Conclusion to this game: the early goal for England kind of disrupted any game plan they might have had, because they automatically wanted to protect that lead and therefore surrendered possession to Italy. An early change for England might have helped by bringing on Rashford or Sancho to exploit the spaces behind Italy's defence, could have been an option and provided more goal threat.